Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. Please, your comments are most important to us. Do leave a comment after watching or send us your voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277 128 777. Thank you. Please, I would like you to join me listening to what we have for you today and leave a comment after watching as well. Thank you.
To come to any conclusion, you reject an ambulance because the stickers which were placed on them, between the sticker and the body of the vehicle, there are air bubbles in them.
Now, I'll come back to this shortly. We have to go and have a conversation with Professor Ransford Gyampo, who is raising some issues with what has been reported in the public domain thus far. Now, he's put together an article, and let me go through portions of that article for you. This is from Professor Ransford Gyampo. Says, ideally, the NDC, given its revolutionary past, should have been more vicious, vindictive, and ruthless in dealing with political opponents. We had its former national chairman, the late Dr. Kobne J. Adli, saying there are many ways to kill a cat, when he was demanding certain drastic actions to be taken against some people who weren't members of his party. But Professor Mills pulled the brakes. The vicious scheme to jail Ato Forson, at all caused by the NPP as revealed by Richard Jakpa's recent application in court, should be worrying to all well-meaning Ghanaians who cherish our cohesion and peace. In his witness statement, Jakpa, I am told, testifies on oath that Attorney General told him that the reason for his inclusion in the prosecution is to mask the real intention behind the whole trial, and that he was the President of the Republic and Ken Ofori-Atta who are mounting pressure for Ato Forson to be jailed. Jakpa is therefore asking the court for an opportunity to testify to these matters and be cross-examined. If truly someone deserves to be punished, so should it be. But if Jakpa successfully adduces evidence to back his claims, the NPP will succeed in being the worst offenders in decimating public confidence in our court and judicial processes. I wouldn't advise the NDC to pay them back tomorrow, but the NPP must know that the revolutionary fervor of the NDC was only suspended during the reign of Professor Mills just for the purposes of safeguarding our peace as a nation. It is disappointing to note these things are happening under a regime that we all thought knew better. Now, one development, the Attorney General has actually filed a response to the application that has been filed by Mr. Richard Jakpa's lawyers. Mr. Richard Jakpa's lawyers are asking the court to discontinue or strike out the charges against him because he has proof, and if he's asked to, he will provide it, that the Attorney General, in fact, the Attorney General told him to his face that you're really not, we won't have charged you. You are not, it's not like as if you have done anything wrong. You have not done anything wrong. You are just in this case to help our case against Dr. Kesel Ato Forson. So he says that if the Attorney General then tells him that you are not, our intention is not to, to bring charges against you for the court to find you guilty, then why is he in the case? He says, I don't know what I'm doing here. So the court should strike out the charges against me, and I have proof. I'm ready to be cross-examined on these things that I say. That Attorney General tells me that ordinarily I shouldn't be in this case at all. I am not guilty of anything. I haven't done anything wrong. And if you listen to the tape in question, and I can go back to that tape, the Attorney General clearly tells him that you have no problem. So he says, if I have no problem, why am I in this matter? So he's gone to court asking the court to strike out the charges against him based on what the Attorney General told him. Now, he's further gone for it to say that the Attorney General even told him that this thing, it is not him, it is the former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and President Akufo-Addo, who are putting pressure on him. To jail Kesel Ato Forson. And he said all that in affidavit before the court. So he'll be put to street proof. But the Attorney General, in a response, is denying all this, not really, but saying that these claims cannot be validated. In fact, they've put forward their response. What we'll do for you tomorrow is to go back to exactly the claims Mr. Jakpa makes in his affidavit. We'll just go to the facts of it, and we'll give you the response of the Attorney General. We'll spend some time going through the response of the Attorney General. So at least there has been a process filed in court. There's been a response from the Attorney General regards to some of the things that has been told to Mr. Richard Jakpa by the Attorney General. The Attorney General is also challenging the grounds for the application that he has filed in court. We're joined on the line by Professor Ransford Gyampo. Prof, good morning, and thank you very much for your time.
Hi, good morning.
I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm very fine. It's just that you put me up from.
Well, let me start because I was just going through your article, and the point that got at me first was you say the vicious scheme to jail Attoforsen at all costs by the NPP, as revealed by Richard Jakpa's recent application in court, should be worrying to all well-meaning Ghanaians. Concluded already that you see a vicious scheme to jail him at all costs?
I said it was vicious because of the tape recording that I listened to. To be fair, when we're told that by raised of these issues openly in court, we're expecting that he would have been challenged. And we are told there wasn't such a challenge. Then we had the voice recording, and I also to look at things from both sides. So I had a certain conversation with the Attorney General about it. I think he made a point that it appeared that the whole thing has been doctored, but the kinds of things that I had, I kept asking myself, if doctor tape, what does it mean? Does it mean then there are things that you didn't say and were attributed to you or something? What made me more worried was the recent suit again by Japan, that it was President Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta who, according to Wilfred Dame, were putting pressure that Attoforsen should be jailed, and that he is not really part of those who are being targeted, and that the whole process is just what is happening to him is just to max the process that are aimed at targeting, are aimed at, Attoforsen. And the guy has been daring enough to say that he wants to do this in court and be given, and he is ready for the opportunity to be cross-examined. So he's not just making an allegation. He said, look, you can come and cross-examine me. And my view is that if this guy succeeds in making that fact indubitable, that truly it is just a political witch hunting to get Attoforsen behind bars, then that should be worrying for all Ghanaians. Look, if it is true that this is a machination of Akufo-Addo, then this be the second time. Remember, we are told that there was a case that was used in blackmailing the former minority leader about some double salary payment, and we are told that was something that was used to cow former minority leader into submission. I mean, if to have this case hanging around your neck, to prosecute or not to prosecute, that would always tell you what to do, especially if you are dealing with executive president, because you'll be scared that, look, if you don't comport yourself well, and then the green light is given and pressure is mounted that you be prosecuted, then you may be in trouble. And fast forward, it's gotten to out of force, less 10, and then we still have this, and we are being told that the president and Kanufurata who are behind this particular matter. And I'm saying that if it is true, or if the guys succeed in adducing evidence to support this, that would be very bad, for Ghana's democracy, particularly under this current regime. And I've warned that they may be walking on a slippery slope. If you are talking about regimes that can put in place machinations to deal with political enemies, I mean, the NDC, given its revolutionary antecedent, I know can do that better. That is not the route we want to go. But you recall that given the way Jerry Rawlings felt he had been treated by J4 after he exited office, he was expecting the same kind of treatment to be meted out to NPP appointees. It was who jailed former appointees of NDC for having caused financial loss to the state. And we've all been told that, look, as for the law of causing financial loss to the state, if my father told me if a police officer doesn't want to arrest you, then it means he doesn't really want to arrest you. But if he wants to arrest you, he'll find every reason to arrest you. By the same way, if a politician wants to find a way to withstand or to worry his political enemies, he can always use the law causing financial loss as a means. And Kufua was the one who jailed Kwame Febra, Victor Solomon, and all those appointees of Rawlings, former appointees of Rawlings, threw them into jail. Rawlings wanted something like that to be done to force appointees. And Atamel said no. You recall that Atamel's own party chairman, the late Kwabena Ije, Dr. Kwabnezi, was insistent that certain things be done to some political enemies. And when his attention was drawn that you have to use legal process, he said, no, there are so many ways of killing a cat. And I'm told that it was because Atamels refused to allow the revolutionary fervor of the NDC to be at play. And that was the reason why Rawlings had much problems with him. And he died. He was replaced by his vice president, became President Mahama. And he's also a very calm, affable person. He also decided to follow the route of his former boss. And so the revolutionary favor of the NDC, in my view, was only suspended. And it is important to remind people who are resorting to all manner of means to do things against suspected political enemies and to blackmail them at all costs. That the NDC can do so even better. And if we go that route, then they would suffer the more. But I don't want to be part of a nation that is vindictive. I don't want to be commenting about the fact that, look, they did this to your appointees and you're also doing the same. And we will not progress as a nation. And so it's important that we warn if people have clearly run afoul of our laws as a country, let the laws of the land be applied dispassionately, and let there be fair hearing. And the processes, let the processes be fair. But if we get to know that this is pure witch hunting, and then you want to find every means to give a dog a bad name so you can hang it, and then it should be worrying to our well-meaning Ghanaians, because when power changes hands, you may be certain a certain precedent that others may want to follow. But these others who may want to follow can be more brutal and can be more ruthless.
So your fear is that this act might awaken a character of the NDC we all do not want to see.
Precisely, in fact, you put it so well. It might awaken a character of the NDC, given its revolutionary favor, that we don't want to see as a nation that wants to be progressing. Atamils did that so well by making sure that, look, let there be peace, and let's not be vindictive and all that. So I expect us to continue on that tangent. But it appears that even when he didn't do this, I know some former NPP appointees were saying, you said we were corrupt. Why is it that when you guys got into power, you couldn't even do anything to us? And I said, look, you probably don't know what you're talking about. It was one man who decided that he didn't want to be vindictive. But if Rollins had been given his way, he would have pushed for things that, in my view, would have felt perpetuated the dark days of the revolution during the days of Atamils. And I think that wouldn't have been good for Ghana's democracy. We have to move on. And so when people are doing some of these things, it is important that they get warned that if power changes hands, the new force or the new regime will be more ruthless and brutal.
In fact, I've heard you on some other networks doing an analysis of the tape we have. And already you seemed convinced that there are serious issues to be dealt with. How should those issues be dealt with in the face of the tape we've all listened to?
The number one issue that has to be dealt with in my mind is the fact that we haven't had patriotic people, and we haven't had very, very, very competent people running affairs. We haven't had people who appreciate the enormity of the problems confronting us as a poor country. Why do I say that? Somebody has issued letters of credit to a company to supply ambulances. You come in to see that, according to you, some of the ambulances are defective. But number one, we are told that medical equipment that were supposed to be fixed in the ambulances have not been cleared from the harbor from the one or from the early part of the time that this regime took over up till now. They are still there. Are we not causing financial loss to the state? Are we truly Ghanaians who appreciate the challenges of poverty and underdevelopment in which we find ourselves? Put that aside. The company that supplied these ambulances and equipment felt that, look, we are not going to be supplying these ambulances and equipment to only Ghana. We will be doing so to other countries. And given the way and manner and the discussions of what we sought to do had assumed or had taken a partisan twist, we risk dragging our name and reputation in the mud. So this company offered to pay 2 million euros just to say that, look, bring us back our defective ambulance and take your money. And we said that no, we prefer to jail one human being to getting resources that we can use to bring about our development. This is the attitude, the disingenuous attitude that encourages people to steal and to rape the nation, and knowing that, look, the politician, even if I steal, they will jail me for 5 years. Okay, so let me steal more, start more funds in my home and in my bank account. I'll go and serve just 5 years jail term and come and enjoy my looting. This is not an attitude that we must encourage. Why did we choose to reject the money that was coming to us just because we want to deal with one person, must the resources that the whole nation can benefit from be thrown down the drain just because we want to be vindictive? I think it shows that we have appointed people to places who do not care for Ghana. Because if I were the minister, if I were the president, I would say no. I mean, collect that money before. Collect that money first. And then let us decide on what we can do after I've collected the money. Okay. And it tells you that we are willing to lose money just to further our interests of political vendetta. We are willing to sacrifice the nation's resources just for the purposes of teaching a political opponent a lesson. And in my view, that is not governance. It is child's play. It shows that politically and democratically we are not mature.
That's only. We said that's the first issue in your mind that needs to be addressed. Do you want an explanation as to why government chose the prosecution route instead of making sure that we claim back as much of the money as possible if you think that the deal was not in our interest?
I was asking a group of students that, look, you are in your room and some armed robbers broke into your room, and then there are some $10,000 with you. They voted with it. Thankfully, they've been arrested by the police, and thankfully, they have not even touched. They still have the money that is stole from you intact in their pocket. And I asked them, simple. They should think, what will you do? They can be prosecuted, and you can also have your money back. What will you do first? And first principles thinking, the elementary thinking. Everyone said, we'll collect our money. We'll collect our money first before we even think about what to do, whether to prosecute them or to do whatever. We'll take our money at first. And I'm saying, but this is so basic, elementary thinking. A nation that is going about begging for 3 billion for IMF, and they are not giving the money to you at once. They are giving the money to you in a doomsome manner, thought. If somebody is bringing you 2 million euros, you still say that we want to jail one person, and because of that, the 2 million euros should go down the drain, or the company should keep its money. I think we are just not serious.
Do you also feel that the Attorney General, per his conduct in this matter, even depending on the one tape alone, has shown that he appreciates the mandates and the law governing his office enough to still continue?
You see, I always would love to give people the benefit of the doubt. I know and I believe that what the Attorney General did, or is alleged to have done on the tip, I know and I believe that other lawyers have done that before, and other lawyers do what he has done, even though by their own rules it is not ethical. I know people do it. So my father, before he died, told me that there is always an 11th commandment: thou shalt not be caught. And he said, if you don't follow this and you are caught, then you must face the full rigors of the law. And so, in my view, even though everybody I know does what is done, it should. I'm trying to approach this whole issue with some trepidation. I feel that he's not the only culprit. Others do the same. But at the same time, I'm also thinking about the impact of what has happened on the judicial and court processes. You see, already, if you look at the various barometer surveys, one of the institutions of state that suffer legitimacy deficit is also the judiciary. People's confidence in the judiciary, it's not the best. I mean, the confidence in this institution of state has gone down, and this particular incident further decimates the public confidence in the court processes. And so I'm wondering that if he still continues, I'm wondering how people will feel. Will people feel safe, or will people trust the processes if matters are being handled by him as Attorney General? It will go low. And so rather than his deputy sounding like a social media political langard or party fusuda in trying to defend what has happened, I think they must rather be sober and say something more meaningful to the people of Ghana. Otherwise, they are decimating the public trust and public confidence in the court and the judicial processes. And I am once again worried about the silence of the Ghana Bar Association. And over the weekend, I was thinking about them. And I came to the conclusion that it appears that, look, yes, these were part of the pro-democracy forces that fought for Ghana's return to constitutional and democratic rule in 1992. And they fought a certain regime, and subsequently they've only concentrated on fighting against this regime anytime it is in power. So it was Rawlings, it was NDC, and it's been like that. So if you have a whole civil society organization, also if you have a whole pressure or interest group that looks only at one regime, then it becomes difficult for them to function effectively and creditably when that regime is not in office. And so that's why it appears that they've been very much silenced and cowed into submission ever since Akufo-Addo took over as president of Ghana. And it's not in the interest of the president himself that he became a president and all agents of restraint, all countervailing powers and offices have been silenced. It's not even in his own interest, because he who is cutting a path would not know his back is crooked, and sometimes it would take credible voices to be able to tell you that, look, what you are doing is wrong. But look at them. They've been very, 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 very silent. Very, very, very silent. And I am worried. I'm worried that they are behaving like this. And we all, if God gives us life, we would all watch them critically and carefully if another regime takes over. And they should be told, or they should be warned, that some of us would wage a personal crusade against them. Should they remain silent now, only to find their voices when another regime takes over power?
Well, I've held it on for too long. What I'll do is then I'll read your conclusion to you, because this is your own conclusion, and I know you recall what you wrote, but just for the benefit of our listeners, is that it is disappointing to know that these things are happening under a regime that we all thought knew better. Now, it's interesting you use past tense, that we all thought knew better. It's just to say that even though you are disappointed, you are beyond surprise and shock. You've gone past that.
It particular regime led by President Akufo-Addo, I think you'll be right to say that the feeling is beyond shock and surprise. I just can't understand who bewitched or who is bewitching them. I just can't. But there are certain things that happen, and then you wonder whether are we crazy or something. And so I am so disappointed. I'm so. Even Jerry Rawlings, who doesn't believe in multi-party democracy, wouldn't do some of the things that are happening under this regime. We never had lack of confidence in the judiciary during Rawlings' time. It was, people may perceive some of the judges as biased there, but it was not so pervasive like it is now. And so I am very worried, very surprised, and beyond surprised, and I'm shocked beyond shock. And sometimes the apostles of democracy, the apostles of good governance, are the worst offenders when they are given the mandate to rule. But permit me to also add a certain response to over the week, I heard some people trying to say that I am flip-flopping or I'm contradicting myself about a certain call for presidential debates, and by some of my good friends in civil society. I know my own friend Imani, Franklin Kujo, and others are calling for a certain presidential debate, and I've spoken against it, and people are saying I'm flip-flopping, and I'm saying that maybe they don't understand me. You see, I have organized presidential debates. I've organized town hall meetings and evening encounters. I worked at the IEA, the only credible debate organizing body then, from 2004, and left there in 2018, 14 years of experience. We used to organize these events. And the whole of in academia, I'm yet to see, but I have researched and published scholarly papers on presidential debates. I have researched the impact of presidential debates on electoral fortunes and the impact of presidential debates in our quest for democratic consolidation. So I know everything about presidential debates. I know the good sides of presidential debates, and I know the bad sides of presidential debate. And yes, I have once spoken calling for presidential debates. And today, because of certain things, I'm saying that I think that in this particular epoch of our political history, I wouldn't favor presidential debate in this particular epoch and in this particular election that we are going to have. And what do I mean? My reasoning was simple. You see, oftentimes in advanced countries where debates are organized, you would see that people may not be so clear in their minds as to who would better advance their cause as a people. So it is difficult, and sometimes you want to appreciate the policy positions of candidates or of political parties. You want to appreciate who has a better grasp over the issues that confronts people. And so when there isn't that much clarity, you also call for debate so that you can have a clear articulation on policy prescriptions being done in a manner that brings that clarity. That is one good thing about debate. Okay, now I've said that I am able to I've now been able to compare from 1992 up to now. But fast forward, I've been able to compare what the previous regime did and what the current regime is doing. And I'm saying any Ghanaian who does this simple comparison wouldn't be confused, but will be filled with clarity as to who must or who can better then govern the country. If you do a comparison, you'll be filled with clarity as to who can govern us better. And I'm saying that if I have this clarity, then I don't even want a debate, because the other negative side of debate is that it encourages demagoguery. Go and Google, well, for the sake of listeners, political demagogues are people who can only talk their way and say the kinds of things that people want to hear just to be able to be popular. And I'm saying that in this particular epoch of our political development, we don't need demagogues. We don't need people to just come and talk, because the talking have been one too many. Akufo-Addo was talking plenty, and we hailed him, and he's disappointed. He's gotten to that point in time where we don't want to encourage or create any platform for demagoguery, because demagogues or demagoguery now should have no place in our governance and democratic system. So I'm thinking that we should all be concerned about how to reset governance to its original settings. We should be thinking about where we were and how things now aren't the same as what used to happen in time past, and to reset our whole developmental agenda and governance process to its original factory settings, so that we can move forward as a nation. And so that's the reason why I'm saying that in this particular time, I don't favor debate. And why? Isn't it? It is only a fool who doesn't change his mind. And so if I said in time past that I like debate, and now I'm looking at facts before me, issues before me, I'm saying at this particular time, I don't favor debate, am I not right to change my mind? We voted for President Akufo-Addo, but now, if he contests again, if he is given the opportunity to contest again, now or in the year after, I would never vote for him. And if refusing to put my vote on autopilot, as others are doing, makes me inconsistent, then I want to be consistently inconsistent. Let me end by once again saying that it's only a fool who doesn't change his mind.
Because you raised that one issue, you said if you put the performance of the former government against the current one, you are clear in your mind. So you have that clarity. On the basis of that, share your clarity with us. What have you concluded?
Oh, I think my discussion with you is not ambiguous at all. Whatever I've said, Ghanaians are too discerning. You needed 4 cedis to get $1. And that was a huge show of incompetence on the part of the previous government. 4 cedis. We said, but Kufo made it $1 to 1 cedi. So why is it that under your regime, it is 4 cedis to $1? It was a huge show of incompetence on the part of John Mahama. Now, you need over 15 cedis to get $1. And you say that there is no clarity, and I should say something beyond that. I think Ghanaians are wiser than me.
Prof, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much. And I wish you the best of the day and the week.
Thank you.
Professor Ransford Gyampo is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, speaking to us. Always a pleasure having a conversation with him on national issues. Now,
thank you for staying to PENDREAM TV. Really appreciate your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed as a new member, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell, like, and also share to other members to watch as well. Make sure you share to other members on your contact list or on your group chats. Thank you.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal le Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.